Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we bring you an in-depth comparison of the latest launch Realme X7 Pro versus Oppo Reno 5 Pro versus iQOO 3. And in today's video we'll compare the 5G variants. So now let's start the video. First we start with the price. The price of Realme X7 Pro sole 8GB plus 128GB starts at 30,000. iQOO 3 4G variant 8 plus 128GB starts at 30,000, but the 5G variant, I do not know why, is showing 40,000 on Flipkart. You might get it at some lesser price in offline stores, or it's probably a glitch. And now the Oppo Reno 5 Pro 8GB plus 128GB is priced at 36,000. So now let's start the comparison with the display. Now the Realme X7 Pro has a 6.55 inch decent enough, not too big, not too small, FHD plus Super AMOLED display. Now it's a really good point. It's a Super AMOLED display with a 120Hz of refresh rate and a 240Hz of touch sampling rate. It's the highest in this price point, and it also has HDR10 plus support and weighs really light, 185 grams only. And it's also protected by the Gorilla Glass 5. So Realme X7 Pro top notch display at the price point. Now let's come to the iQOO 3. iQOO 3 has a slightly lesser 6.44 inch Full HD plus Super AMOLED display. It's a more compact phone, and it has a 60Hz refresh rate, which is standard, with a 180Hz decent touch sampling rate. This one also has HDR10 plus support but weighs pretty high, 214 grams, but the protection is better, Gorilla Glass 6. Now let's come to the Oppo Reno 5 Pro. It has almost the same display like the Realme X7 Pro, the 6.55 inch FHD plus curved Super AMOLED display. Yes, it's a curved display this time, but the refresh rate is 90Hz, and it has 180Hz of touch sampling rate. This one also has HDR10 plus, and it weighs even lighter than the Realme X7 Pro. This one weighs 175 grams, and it also protected by the Gorilla Glass 5. So overall, in the display criteria, I'm definitely gonna give the point to Realme X7 Pro because it's the best display at the price point. Now let's move ahead to the next point, which is the processor. Both the Oppo Reno 5 Pro and the Realme X7 Pro are equipped with the MediaTek Dimensity 1000 Plus processor, whose Antutu scores are 5.4 lakhs and 5.2 lakhs respectively. So you get that type of score, which is decent enough. But the iQOO 3 has a super powerful Qualcomm Snapdragon 865, which is way better than the other two processor, because it's a Snapdragon processor and it doesn't have any heating effect and anything, and iQOO 3 is especially a gaming phone. And the Antutu score is also bigger, 5.9 lakhs of this phone. So yes, iQOO 3 definitely wins the processor segment. So now the scores are Realme 1, iQOO 1, Oppo 0. Let's move ahead to the cameras. Now I have a mixed response here. Realme X7 Pro has a 64 megapixel Sony IMX686 sensor with an 8 megapixel ultra wide, 2 megapixel macro and 2 megapixel depth, quad cameras it is, and a 32 megapixel selfie. Decent enough but not the best at this price. Whereas the iQOO 3 has a 48 megapixel Sony IMX582 with a 13 megapixel ultra wide, 13 megapixel telephoto lens with a 2 megapixel depth and a 16 megapixel selfie. Now iQOO 3 is also not the best camera setup, but at least they have a telephoto lens. Now let's come to Oppo Reno 5 Pro. Quad camera, 64 megapixel plus 8 plus 2 plus 2, almost the same as the Realme X7 Pro, except that this is not a Sony sensor, this is a Samsung sensor, and this one has a 32 megapixel selfie. So in the camera department, I'm giving point to no one, because no one is the best at this price point. But let's move ahead to the next segment, which is the battery. Now Realme X7 Pro is equipped with a 4500 mAh battery with a 65 watt super fast charging, which is a really great point at the price point. But iQOO 3 has a 4400 mAh battery with 55 watt of charging, and Oppo Reno 5 Pro has a 4350 mAh battery with 65 watt of charging. So basically the mAh difference is not much in them. Everything depends upon the optimization, but I will give the point to Realme here because it's the fastest battery and the fastest charging. Now the scores are Realme 2, iQOO 1, Oppo 0. Let's move ahead to the other section, which is a very important section. The Realme X7 Pro does have in-display fingerprint scanner, but it doesn't have headphone jack, it has a glass back, it doesn't have any micro SD card slot, it has stereo speakers, it has Realme UI based on Android 10, which is really disappointing. Android 11 out of the box could have been expected. Now if we come to iQOO 3, it has in-display fingerprint scanner, it does have headphone jack, it does have glass back, it does have micro SD card slot, but it has single speaker, it does not have any stereo speakers. It has iQOO UI based on Android 10, no Origin OS update yet, but it is upgradable to Android 11. And it has extra Google Assistant button and also gaming touch buttons, which is massive at the price point, and it's basically totally a gaming centric device. That's why this is present. Now if we come to the Oppo Reno 5 Pro, it has in-display fingerprint, no headphone jack, it has a glass back, it does have a micro SD card slot, it has stereo speakers, it has Color OS based on Android 11 out of the box. So here are their other specifications. Now let's come to the final way of this video, where we're going to tell you which one you should choose. So now our verdict is that if you want to choose the Realme X7 Pro, probably the reasons would be the 120Hz refresh rate, 240Hz touch sampling rate, 64 megapixel main camera, which is the best among the other two, and the biggest battery with 65 watt of charging in comparison to the other two, and the stereo speakers. So yes, Realme X7 is a pretty good deal at the price. But if we see iQOO 3, it has a gaming buttons. If you totally want for gaming purpose, definitely go for iQOO 3. It has a telephoto camera. If you like telephoto zooming and all, then definitely this is for you. It has the best processor. Yes, it's best for gaming, and it's totally a gaming centric device. Now let's come to the Oppo Reno 5 Pro. If you are a fan of curved AMOLED displays, it's the best selfie camera. Yes, we all know Oppo Vivo selfie is so good, and it has stereo speakers. That's also a reason. So overall, yes, we might call the Realme X7 Pro slightly overpriced when it was launched, but actually, to be honest, seeing that in this price point, Realme offers the most of the specs. So definitely Realme X7 Pro is the best at this price point. Then comes iQOO 3, then I will say Oppo Reno 5 Pro. But if you go to offline stores, you will get the Oppo Reno 5 Pro cheaper than 30,000. So overall, you can also look for that. So anyways, hope you like this video, and do like, share, subscribe and comment. I'll be back with the next video soon. So till then, bye and thanks for watching, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter and check the description. Bye.